So we're going to go back to the chat. We have another question from D. Carrero. So we don't know for sure that it's Dylan, but we can only assume that it is. And Dylan wants to know, how many times does LBG wear his recovery boots? Can you, one, explain what that means, and two, answer D. Carrero?
Well, I can confirm that it's the real D. Carrero because
Okay.
only him would know about that. It was a joke last year. I have recovery boots, the boots that pump up your legs, and I bring them on every trip we go. I don't know. It's been my routine for so long, and when the first time he saw that and he thought, well, you're gonna bring this every trip because it's kind of big, it's big boots, you have to roll them. And
that's the only reason I didn't get drafted in MLS is because I didn't have recovery boots.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I didn't make it.
It's an investment.
Okay.
It must be like the Tom Brady and his famous Uggs.
Yeah, well, I guess we all have different types of routine, but no, the Uggs are. I stay with my recovery boots. That's what works for me.
Okay, fair enough. So on the topic of Tom Brady, just because it's something going on in the world, obviously a big splash. Louis, not sure how much you follow the NFL, but I think we can all appreciate just how much influence and impact Tom Brady has. So he moves from the New England Patriots to another team. In our opinion, it's still very a small league, is what I'm trying to say, and we only have 1 year under our belt. But I'll ask you all the question. In your opinion, after year one, what would be the similarity, or who would be the CPL player shaking things up so much like Tom Brady to Tampa Bay if we were to have someone like that in the CPL?
Ollie gets it first. All right, go ahead.
I don't know if I want to compare anyone to Tom Brady because, he's arguably kind of washed up, right? So I don't want to.
Oh no, let's wait. We'll wait and see.
Here's a scenario. Mississauga gets an expansion team, puts a big offer on the table for Bobby Simoniotis. What happens?
Ooh, I like that.
Does Bobby go home?
I don't know. Does Louis go home when the Quebec team eventually comes? We could ask that question.
Never know. You never know. 3 years ago, I would never thought I would play, in CPL, or 4 years ago, so it goes so fast. And if one thing I can say is that I don't think you can judge, a lot of people were judging my good friend Petrasso for going back home, and sometimes it's part of the business. You're going to be judged. You're going to be judged on the decision you make. And obviously everybody, I think we should respect at a certain point, that a player wants to go home, especially a player like him. He's been away, for so long. So, I mean, Tom Brady's not going back home, but if he was,
I like how you're staying away from Bustos.
What's that?
I like how you're staying away from Bustos, abandoning Winnipeg.
Oh, but I think if we can I was gonna say if we can compare, like a blockbuster trade type of thing, I think Bustos would be, with the off season he's had and the fact that he was waiting so long to take a decision or announce it, I think that was maybe the closest.
Yeah. Well, there's pressure now. There's pressure now too. Big money move out to the West Coast. He's got to turn that franchise around out there now. So we're going to be following it for sure.
Of course, it brings pressure because of all the talks, about in the offseason about him and all that. It brings pressure, of course. But I think, if I was him, I would love that type of challenge that it brings, especially a player like him. He's a game changer. So hopefully he can be, a franchise player.
It's a good. I was joking about you moving back to Quebec. I'll give you Tom Brady in a second, Kurt, but I want to ask you. It brings up a good point, Louis. Expansion is something that fans talk about all the time, and fans all over the country want a club in their city, and we know that the goal for the CPL is to get to that point. But for someone who was born in Quebec, from and raised in Quebec, how much would it mean to that province and for football in Quebec to get an expansion team?
Oh, it would mean a lot. I mean, not personally for me. I mean, I would love it. I'm from there. I want to represent. I hope I represent Quebecers very well, but I don't think I'm in a point in my career where I have to go back home. Absolutely, no matter what. For me, moving somewhere has always been about the project and always been about the environment of the club and all that. If it wasn't the right fit for me, I would not force a move just to go back home. I'm still young. For me, that's not the case. That's not the case for me personally, to absolutely go back home right away. But obviously, I think it would be unbelievable to have a team. I really hope they can make it work, and they can make it work, soon, because Quebec is, a bit like Ontario. There's a lot of players that a lot of quality players that come from there. So we see a York team that has, a lot of Ontario players and quality players. So I think Quebec would make a wonderful team and would showcase so much talent from there that, hasn't been shown yet. So
for me, it's not about. Yeah, for me, it's not necessarily about there being enough players. It's about, what's the reaction going to be from Impact fans? And, is there room for multiple clubs in that city? I remember I did a story with TFC president Bill Manning, 3 years ago now, where they were very territorial of, not just Toronto, but the GTA. I think they basically, told the CPL in that story, good luck if you think you can come here and take fans away from us. And maybe he was right. Maybe he wasn't right. Maybe he was just trying to claim his territory. But I'm wondering if you think some Impact fans could be swayed to go and support something new in the Montreal area.
Well, to be honest, if a fan in Montreal right now has a choice, I think they would choose to go see a Montreal Impact game. But I don't think the Impact is very territorial, and I don't think they would be scared to lose fans. And I hope they don't think like that, because the point is not, to lose fans or some people to gain fans. It's just to bring everything up. It would just bring the quality, bring everything up, the talent, the showcase and all that. So, and of course, if the team is in Quebec, there's absolutely no territorial.
Yeah. I know. I'm just speaking about the Montreal area. I know. Yeah.
But I heard about, rumors about Laval and all that, and that's pretty close to Montreal. So
it's coming, buddy.
I don't
it's
think
coming.
it would be a problem.
No, I think it's a good point, though. We're having it in Quebec proper, whether they play at Laval, University of Laval to start. I think that's, to get a club in a market that doesn't have football at that level yet, is definitely a big play. Okay, Larson, do you want to go on Tom Brady, or have we moved on?
I'll go quickly, but I've changed from last night when I said Jose Escalante to Forge for obvious reasons. I think it's actually Jose Escalante to Edmonton, because I can just the picture of Jose Escalante standing next to Jeff Paulus, and Jeff Paulus is holding the Escalante kit out in front of them. Just doesn't really make any sense to me, especially after Jeff Paulus, what do you call him, more or less a dishonest player last year. I call him a clever player. But Jeff Paulus called him a dishonest player. So for me, it's Escalante to Edmonton would, for me, create the most waves, the most interest, the most kind of head turning in the CPL.